I can't talk about Sleep Token. Well, I can, but I won't. There's no big scary lawsuit or NDA if I do talk about Sleep Token. I could share engineering insight or behind the curtain insights of the building blocks of all the songs, but it's very, 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 very unlikely this will ever happen. There's so much to unpack in this video about trust, establishing relationships, things that I've garnered and learnt from working on records such as Sundowning by Sleep Token, or I Let It In and It Took Everything by Loathe, Sand by Is Legend, and Censorship by Wovenwar. I've worked on plenty of records, but those are probably the ones that you may or may not have heard of, but that's my best bet. So there we are. When it comes down to relationship building, respect, how to make your parents like you, say that they're proud, and so you don't have to hate yourself so much. And then dealing with that so familiar, ever so familiar feeling of I need validation. So that's why we're here today. In this video, we are looking at relationship building, trust, validation, how to get yours and make it stick. We'll get into all of those aspects in a bit, but first, why won't I talk about Sleep Token? The guy having a hard time with his dog. Not like that. I like to think I made it pretty well known, pretty obvious how much I adore Sleep Token when I was on the URM podcast with Eyal. If you've not heard that, I'll put a link in the description somewhere. Be down there, you know how it works, right? That relationship means a lot to me, and I'm sure, well, I say I'm sure, I like to hope they think and feel the same way. I've got a branch stuck on my head. Building what I have with them took an insane amount of trust. And what that taught me is that, well, trust is of the utmost value in music. It's probably the most, trust is probably the most important thing in life. Now that trust is incredibly hard to establish and really easy to fuck up. There's no two ways about it. Once you've got it, you really don't want to lose it. So that trust is incredibly hard to establish and it's incredibly delicate. And the most annoying thing is once you've got it, your brain wants nothing more than for you to fuck it up. So what takeaways can you get from this video? What can I teach you that from the lessons that I've learned whilst working with bands and from the records that I've done, that you can leave this video knowing something more than you did 15 minutes ago? If you're thinking that, or beginning to feel that I'm thinking about this too much or getting super snowflakey about it, I'm really sorry, not sorry, but you're wrong. This is essential. This is the exact amount of thinking that you should be doing in order to progress. So how about we take a look at what happens when the lizard brain wins? In an alternate reality, if I chose to speak freely about the guts of the sessions, it may earn me some internet points. Kind of like the equivalent of working for experience, but online. However, the outcome is likely to look something like this. I speak about the project, I get some internet points, the band aren't so keen that I did this. They may choose to not share their feelings with me because they feel like their trust has been mishandled. The band felt grateful when we finished the record because the result is good, but go quiet after the project is completed. They'll probably talk and move to working with another producer for future projects. It's very unlikely I'll get any indication as to why this has happened. I'll never work with them again and I'll cry in the bathroom alone and order Domino's. This, however, it's not specific to my relationship with Sleep Token. It's probably very true for any artist relationship that I have if I choose to go and get mine. That selfish want for validation is pure, unfiltered danger for your career. And if I was naive enough to let this lizard brain take over, it would ruin the vast majority of my relationships. How do you ensure that you get your validation for the work that you've done and the things you've achieved without damaging that trust? In the case of the early doors producer, or when you're just starting off in your bedroom, it's hard to get that selfish want, the I need you to know that I did this thing out of our brain, out of our head. I know, because when I started off, I had that issue. I had that in my brain. It's always hard battling against the I need people to know that I did this part of the brain. It's difficult to find a balance between that. I need people to know that I did this while still remaining respectful to the band, to the work that you've done. Ultimately, because ultimately, selfishly, that advertising and that validation is what will eventually lead to new work and ultimately money. That want, that validation want in your brain, it doesn't get quieter, you just become more, you become smarter at attending to it in a way that it benefits both of you. It's less shout from the rooftops and more everything in kind, hand in hand. I think it would be at this point, if I was any other pseudo-Zen YouTuber, that I'd be spouting out stuff like under promise, over deliver, make sure the work speaks for itself so you don't have to. The fundamental problem with pieces of white bread Instagram enthusiastic advice like this is that it simply doesn't teach you how to establish relationships and even get there in the first place. It's just bullshit. In the past, I've probably been guilty of saying something similar myself, but I probably didn't have such a strong sense of self, or just didn't know what I was getting at. So not anymore, not gonna peddle that. Hi. Hello. I used to believe that it was possible to have a perfect string of words that you could say and everyone would immediately want to hire you and work with you. That you would be great, but it didn't take me long to realize that it just simply doesn't work like that. That's not the way the world works. Everyone is different, so you kind of have to figure that out. You have to work with it too. It's just plain simple, smart thinking, good old-fashioned smart thinking, to be using what is in front of you to inform your decision making. But time and time again, I see it just isn't applied. However, it's all good and well me talking about this in this video and just rattling off things that you should and shouldn't do, but I got given an unfair advantage when I was starting up work in this way, simply because I was brought up in an environment that catered to being able to establish those relationships quite easily. However, it didn't teach me how to speak properly, so in order to discuss absolutely everything, I think I need to introduce you to the person that taught me quite literally everything that I know. I think I need to find my dad. There he is.
Hello world.
All right, so this video is about building relationships and how to establish trust. A lot of people in my industry, when starting out, don't really know where to start, who to talk to, how to talk to them, and what to keep track of. Do you think you could fire off an idiot's guide to like how not to fuck up and hate yourself?
There's a tendency to transmit too much and to make it all about you. And people just go blabbermouth and, oh, I've got this and I do this and it's all brilliant and it's wow and it's all transmit. And it's not about you, it's about them.
Bands, actually not just bands, people, anyone love to talk about themselves. So center your questions around them and what they need and what they want and what they want to achieve, and then align your responses in tune to that. And then once that is in place, I think that's probably the foundation for a higher success rate in relationship establishing.
What's worked in the past, what hasn't worked, what does the future look like for you? All sorts of open questions that get someone talking so you can get inside their head. You mentioned that you thought a set of words that you could reel out and would win anyone over.
Yeah.
Clearly that's not going to work, but you can have a set of questions.
I think you could probably do that. I think you probably have a set of questions. That now leads us to, first point is use what you're observing to your advantage, base the questioning around them. And then the third step is having that sequence of questions that, based upon that information, allows you either to establish that relationship or in some cases close altogether.
There's also a tendency when I'm been training and coaching, for people then to be looking at their next question and thinking about what they're going to ask next.
I think that's another video. I get 12 minutes, and then even that, you know, for the people that get to the end of this video, it's great on them. It's going to be a lot of information in their back pocket. There's going to be a lot of people that get halfway through, 6-7 minutes in, and then they're done.
Grow up, people, and watch it all. It's good for you.
All right, well, I'm going to leave it there.
Is this when I say don't be a dick? You're welcome.
All right.
Am I saying goodbye now?
Yes, you can say goodbye now.
Bye.
That was my dad. If you're still with me at this point, kudos to you. I can appreciate this is a lot of information to take on board. As a producer, the environment that you create for yourself and the artists that you get to work with ultimately determines how effective you are at achieving your common goal, your vision. Before you even get to this point, setting the stage with perfect communication and relation building is vital, is paramount to any level of success. These are the intangibles, the unspoken above and beyond that keep artists and bands alike coming back to you time and time again. Surpassing by far any flex that you can pull off with a vintage microphone, extortionate outboard gear, or big dick energy amplifier. Right, I've fed you a lot of information, but I am curious, which one of these points will you try first? I feel like there's a lot to take away from here and open up new avenues to success for you. If any of that happens, or if one of these points is even remotely successful, I'll feel like this video is worth it. So tell me what you found useful. Maybe tell me what you're going to put into practice first in a comment below. I'm genuinely curious to hear whether this has been worthwhile. So, until next time, stay safe, don't be a dick, and eat your goddamn vegetables. Cheers. All right.
Was that all right? Are we recording, or are we?
I'm just checking.
Kind of being normal now.
We're being normal now. I'm just checking the.
I can do this now.
Yeah, you can.